half article is better than thousands of Buhari.
Buhari is doing the best in Nigeria.
Presidential election.
And you're watching Roots TV Nigeria. This is Mood of the Nation. We're counting down to the February 16 polls, and we are taking the pulse of the nation. This time we're focusing on civil society organizations and pressure groups. Okay, so what they basically do is to monitor governance, especially the ones that we have right here in the studio. But we're going to get their thoughts on how far the preparations of the elections and if they believe that free and fair as well as credible elections is possible February 16 and going forward. I have right here in the studio, starting very close to me, is Colin Zobase. He is from the Africa Youth Growth Foundation.
Thank you for having me.
And his group, his CSO, is also part of the Transition Monitoring Group, which is a huge umbrella body responsible for monitoring the elections. It's good to have you, Collins.
Thank you once more.
And I have the very one and only Chris Mamuda. He is from the Small and Medium Scale Enterprises, a small pressure group that looks after small business owners. It is good to have your perspective on this because throughout these elections, it feels like we're not talking much to the small business owner who is heavily affected by whoever becomes president.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I want to start with you, Collins. So far, with what you have seen, I mean, you have, for the past 2 years, I've known your organization to be interfacing with different groups of people, especially the youth, which is your thematic area.
Exactly.
Now, based on what you have collected and what you have heard so far, what are your thoughts about the elections? Do you think young people are going to vote? If they vote, who are they tending towards? And then, do you think the free, fair, and credible elections is possible with what has been going on? I know it's plenty questions, but then I want to get your thoughts.
Thank you very much. I think the preparation towards the election started a long time ago. When we realized that there is voter apathy among young people in Nigeria. So my organization, African Youth Growth Foundation, we organize a sensitization campaign called a Step Out campaign, where we urge youths to go out there because they are the biggest demography in this election.
Absolutely,
you know, they are
64%
of the people that registered voters are actually the
voters,
youths. So they are the real stakeholders in this election. We realize that they have not been participating in election for a very long time ago. So we created what we call Step Out campaign, an advocacy. We even had what we call a National Day of Action, where we urge them to go out, register, collect their PVC, and also to shun buying. And I believe that campaign and the reorientation that team projected is going to lead to a very large turnout.
You really think there's going to be a large turnout in the elections?
Exactly. And if you see, there is a projection over time. I think social media have created a whole lot of awareness politically. If you monitor
on Twitter,
exactly, if you monitor
Twitter,
if you monitor conversations right now, you see that young people are really interested in this election.
You see, here's the thing, Collins. A lot of people worry that the extent of engagement that you see on social media may not translate entirely to the polls. You know, young people have what Nigerians call plenty ginger.
Exactly.
You know,
This is because there are different communication landscapes.
I see.
So somebody who follows a traditional media landscape will not actually know the trend. You know, over time across the globe, social media have actually played a big role in election.
Even the previous election, 2015, it is believed that social media played a huge role into bringing this current
I believe
administration.
the young people who have a large stake in this election are really going to decide who is going to be the next president.
You believe
exactly
that this decider is the young vote?
Exactly.
Okay.
This is an election for the young people. Exactly.
Chris, let's talk about the business, the small and medium scale business owner. Let's talk about a lot of things. As a matter of fact, almost every single campaign that I know is targeting this group of people. We have, okay, of course, the president has the TraderMoni, the market money, which many people have called trade buying. So let's start with that, or vote buying. Let's start with that. From the perspective of the small business owner, what are your thoughts about market money and TraderMoni? And is it tending towards what they say it could be?
I don't think so, because the trader money and market money is a response to the call by operators and experts in the industry.
I see.
That we have a lot of micro enterprises, and these micro enterprises do not require complex loan application processes, and They don't need huge capital. A woman in the village who is just doing her akara business probably needs just 20,000, 10,000 as seed capital. And in the course of our engagement with the federal government of Nigeria through the office of the vice president, it was realized that it is not a rocket science to be able to find a way to support the micro enterprises.
You know the contention here. Timing.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said, why did it take this administration so long? I mean, just few months to the elections. That's when trader money and market money is now becoming a thing. Why wasn't it a thing from the very beginning of this administration? Even the traders themselves, do they think there's something a little sinister in terms of the timing, or they're just grateful to have money?
Well, not really. Well, I can accept that the timing may appear not appropriate, be that as it may. But it is the desired, because from the report we have from the from the National Bureau for Statistics, it clearly shows that we have more of the micro enterprises, very small businesses. I mean micro as in micro.
Micro as in very micro, as in 5 people.
Yeah,
or just one-man
business, yeah.
One-man businesses.
I think I have a perspective on this. Coming from a development team.
Yes.
Where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
I think no matter the utilitarian value of trader money or market money, I think it's just a mere window dressing. Because what people have been clamoring for over time is that to make the environment conducive for private sector to thrive.
Business.
You know, laying in central bank is billions of naira that same micro
have not
cannot access. So why not tackle the main issue, create reduce the bottlenecks that are in administration, so that they integrate these micro people into the wider economic
because
view.
the truth of the matter is that a lot of these micro people cannot write application, they cannot get collateral, they cannot, these are some of the things they cannot
Well, that is
do.
why I'm happy to say that it's a wrong perception to think that these intervention programs have
a political connotation.
connotations. No.
Yeah.
From the 2013 survey conducted by Bureau for Statistics in the country, it shows that if you are talking about the SME sector, it is even wrong to say SME. It is MSE, because we have the micro enterprise, which is just one-man business, a business that is not even registered. But when you say you are a small-scale business, it means you are registered, you are formalized. And when you say you are a medium enterprise, it means you are a bigger enterprise.
Chris, can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Theoretically and statistically, with all due respect, from all the facts that are available, these are all correct.
Yeah.
But why? I'm trying to get the realities on ground, because a lot of people have accused this administration of not being in touch with realities.
Exactly. Let me bring the idea.
Chris, not to cut you short, it feels like there is this huge gap between the statistics we're getting from government and the realities on ground. That is why people say, why did you wait this long to have all of these interventions, if we could use that word?
Yeah, well, as much as I appreciate these concerns, we need to understand that globally, not just beyond Nigeria, globally, there's a deep concern about having access to finance. Access to finance is a huge issue. Cost of having access, the procedures of applying for some of these funds. And as a business development expert that has been engaged in this sector for over 20 years now, I appreciate the issues that are on ground. I was one of the advocates that we need to create loan processes that are very seamless, very easy and smart. I need just 10,000 to do my business. I don't need to go to a bank and start filling forms and things like that. And I think that the government was very responsive in accepting our advocacy, our call for a simplified loan application process.
May I say something, Chris?
Yeah.
I get the sense that you're just too grateful that it's happening. It doesn't care whether there's any political connotation or whether you're just grateful that at least the trader has more money to work with. Which is
for me, I agree that the timing is wrong. Because when we started this started as what they call the Government Enterprise Intervention Fund, GEEP. It was a Government Enterprise Development Fund, GEEP, as an intervention, and the processes started and became cumbersome.
Yes, it took
you
very long.
Want an Akara woman to go to internet and fill forms and do
doesn't make sense.
So when the pilot test started, it was discovered that it was very difficult, and there were a lot of called by even independent CSO organization that the processes of intervening
was just too long, especially for the women that need that. Here's my question, and this goes to both of you, because both of you are very much on the field and you're meeting business owners, whether they're market women or they're, graduates who are starting small entrepreneurial businesses. Are these market women going to vote? Do you believe they're going to vote? Do you think they are interested enough in all of the polity, in what's going to happen and who's going to be the president, whether the whether the incumbent stays in power or we have a new president? Do you think they're going to go to the polls?
No, definitely there's a new sense of awareness now in the country. People are interested in what is going on. People are concerned about the economic issues, the issues of survival. People are concerned about issues of prosperity, and therefore these issues are going to be very serious drivers for the elections, and it will give a direction as to how people are going to vote.
So you think they're going to vote? The first question is, are they going to vote in masses? I mean, voter apathy has always been a problem in this country. So do you think with what has gone on so far, especially as the economy is right now, do you think market people are going to go and vote?
Of course. A friend of mine who has never voted in his life recently told me that he had to spend many hours on the queue just to take his vote because he wants to vote a presidential candidate that has good economic policies.
Based on all the conversations that you have had, I'm sorry if this puts you on the spot, but you have examined the economic policies of almost all of these candidates. Which one appeals to you? Well, I'm not saying it's better, but which one speaks to you? Which one do you think is more feasible? Sorry, the word is more feasible, more workable.
I am more interested in any candidate who has economic policies that can create prosperity for the people, an economic policy that will provide wealth for the people, an economic policy that will create jobs for people. And
all of them say that to Chris, you're now because you're staying safe in this question.
No.
All of them, all of the manifestos say we're going to create jobs, we're going to create a leveling environment. But I asked you, which one is feasible? Which one is doable? Which one seems more possible, more plausible? I mean,
an economic policy that is more proactive.
Okay.
Someone that is more proactive. Because our major concern in the organized private sector is that with due respect to the present administration, our concern has always been predictability of their policies, management of the economy. You understand? You have a situation where budgets are not passed on good time. You have a situation where budgets are not properly aligned with the reality. Those are very serious cases.
All right, let me come to you, Collins. First of all, based on, you already said that, young people are very enthusiastic to vote this time, but let's talk about the young businessman or young businesswoman, that graduate who's really trying to make a living, considering that jobs is still is one of the most serious issues in this country. What are your thoughts about what he said economically?
Exactly. There are ministries, departments, and agencies of government that are actually under focus about youths, driving them towards employment and entrepreneurship. Exactly. Do you know what this government have done, or what we have tracked? Now, ITF, SMIDAN, that is supposed to take care of small and medium scale enterprises. There is Bank of Industry, there is Nexim Bank,
Bank of Agriculture.
These are agencies of government that are supposed to actually push towards maybe the market women and all that. But if you check the appropriation bill from 2016 to 2017, although we have not looked at 2018, you see that these agencies of government are actually starved of funds. So through the back channel, you bring back the trader money and the market money.
What's the point? The main channel, you don't go give them money. You don't give them the money, and then you go to the back channel to give them. That is what you believe is an incentive.
Exactly.
Okay, Collins, here's my question again. Do you think the traders are going to vote? Do you think all of the trader money and market money has actually swayed?
Exactly. That the reason why they are going to vote is that lack of fund and poverty have been weaponized by the political actors, both from the ruling party and the opposition.
Yeah.
Exactly. So people are going to go there to vote because of the stake and the interest they have, based on what has happened. Because if you see unemployment and poverty, the political class have actually used it. That is what led us to vote by.
Interesting, very interesting ideas. Thank you so very much, Chris Mahmuda, for talking to us, and of course, Colin Obasi for talking to us. Now, we may have focused very much on the business community, especially for you, the small business owner, because trust me, whatever decision that you make at the polls will affect how your business will excel or not excel in the coming days and in the next administration. So we encourage you, whatever the issues are, please go out and vote February 16, which is just a few days away from now. You've been watching Mood of the Nation. Give us your thoughts on the conversation we just had on the comment section of this video, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. My name is Gloria Oje Emode, and you're watching Roots TV Nigeria.
Half article is better than thousands of Buhari.
Buhari is doing the best in Nigeria.
presidential election.